And now the continuation of The Strange Tale of Dr. 58, Part 2. So, what happened to the mother?
Touched by evil, shunned.
How awful. So, let's back up here a bit. So, the situation was this. Carl Tenant apparently went to Minnesota. He did not come back out, but rather a perfect duplicate of him came out, or was a doppelganger. The double of Carl Tenant was so perfect that everyone, even his wife and lawyers, thought he was a normal human and husband. He then impregnated his wife, then disappeared when his wife was in labor. He gave birth to a larva, which then later grew into a troll. It was then assumed that Carl Tenant was actually some sort of troll in a perfect disguise as a human being, and the purpose was to impregnate a female human with a baby troll. Are we getting this right?
Carl Tenant was a doppelganger, but we don't know if he was a troll.
Yeah, his offspring was a troll. So, can't we make that assumption?
No, Carl Tenant was only a doppelganger to be associated with a troll activity.
You know something, Dr. 58? If it wasn't for the fact that we were communicating through the Ouija board, we could simply say you're just spinning a lot of tale for our entertainment. Please don't take offense. We just get a lot of Ouija board entities who just spew non-stop baloney.
I don't know what a Ouija board entity is. What is that?
It is a type of communication we use with a Ouija board. Are you just making up a story about Carl Tenant and the troll lava baby?
I'm an ordinary kid in New York. I am a person. You say you're a person. How do I even know? You could be a Minnesota troll mocking me.
We are not trolls. We don't think trolls exist. That's why I find your story so fantastic.
You make strange claims too.
Like what?
You claim to be in the future, in the year 2010.
Well, you did say that you are in 1951, and we know that we are in the year 2010. I don't know what else to say, but that's the truth. We make no strange claims. We're just being honest with you. Why is it again that you're still speaking with us? You claim it's illegal and afraid, yet you're still talking to us. Do you live with your parents, and do they know what you're up to?
Yes, I live with my parents. They do not know what I am doing. They would punish me. They would be frightened and horrified that I contacted someone from Minnesota.
So, why are you still doing it then?
I am curious. I want to have adventure. I listen to the stories of the old cave on the street corner. I want to know.
The old cave? Are you referring about the mad priest? The father restaurant of Roman? He still stands on the street corner and tells stories about strange lands of Minnesota? Is that the case?
Not Minnesota. It is illegal to speak of it. He stands on the corner of West 8th Street and 5th Avenue, and I like to listen to his sermons. Some people do call them ravings.
But it is assumed his ravings concern the knowledge gained from being in Minnesota, even if he's careful on what he's saying. Is that right?
Yes.
How do you not know he's a doppelganger?
He is not a doppelganger because he does not look like his old self anymore. He came back from Minnesota bent over, bald and withered.
But everyone is still certain that this is Old Cave, as you call him. Is he still the former father of Roman? And how did he escape from the law?
Most think it's Father Roman. I do think so he is. He is not a doppelganger because he looks unlike the former Father Roman.
Well, maybe it's not him then. Does the Old Cave claim to be Father Roman?
No, but it must be him. The birthmark on his face is identical to his own withered skin.
What type of birthmark does he have?
A large S mark on the right side of his face.
Why wasn't he prosecuted for going to Minnesota?
There is no political will. He is obscure, a homeless man who walks the streets. He never talks illegally about Minnesota. It is hard to prove he was there.
Did Father Roman announce that he was going to Minnesota?
Yes, he believed that the power of Christ was all-powerful, more powerful than anything that might exist in Minnesota.
So he's some kind of holy missionary for the Christ and went on a mission to tame the weird and magical land of Minnesota? And bring under control of the power of Christ?
Yes,
How long is believed he was in Minnesota?
for several years.
Well, why did he not return to his church and back to his priestly duties?
He must have lost his faith being in Minnesota by some magic there.
And now he preaches about the Catholic faith being false?
No, he does not talk about religion. He talks about many strange things.
Such as the Verdantic mysteries you mentioned?
Yes, Father Roman was known to have photographic memory, and he could have memorized the Verdantic mysteries in Minnesota and brought them back here to New York.
So he wrote them down and published them, or...
No, others scribed his teachings. Followers, there is a scroll.
So someone had wrote down the Verdantic mysteries onto a scroll,
Yes,
and you have a copy of that scroll.
yes. I obtained it from a criminal.
Why a criminal?
It is feared that the Verdantic mysteries are from Minnesota, and therefore it is illegal.
Holy, wow. Your tales never end, and I have so many questions. So let us change gears for a moment and go back to about people traveling to Minnesota. What about the other states that border Minnesota, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Canada, that's in the north? You mean to tell us that no one in the neighboring states may enter Minnesota?
There is no North or South Dakota, only Dakota. Few dare to enter Minnesota by land or sea.
Well, have the authorities built some kind of wall around Minnesota, or what is the situation? This doesn't seem practical at all.
There have been attempts to build walls, but it is troublesome. There is a 5-mile neutral zone from the agreed-upon border of Minnesota wherein no one may enter. Most stay much further away.
So you can legally get within 50 miles of Minnesota or within the neutral zone.
Yes,
What about by sea? Do ships or boats approach Minnesota from Lake Superior?
there is about 100-league neutral zone by sea, which no ship may enter or will enter. There has been a few incidences.
Could you describe one of those situations?
Many ships have disappeared on the waters of Minnesota Angle.
Is that what you call the neutral region of the water that borders Minnesota on Lake Superior?
Yes,
We have something similar like that in here in Minnesota, but we call it the northwest angle. But that is the northernmost point of Minnesota, jutting into the Lake of Woods. Do you know of it?
no.
Has anything strange happened in the terms of seagoing incidences involving Minnesota waters?
Many. The Preslin Barton was blown into the Minnesota Angle waters by a storm. The ship drifted back out. All the crew were missing. The ship was intact and in perfect condition.
So how many were aboard the ship?
More than 200 crew.
Did any of the crew members were found outside of Minnesota as doppelgangers?
No,
Well, what about air? Does anyone fly over the skies of Minnesota?
there is no fly zone. It is illegal.
What if the airplane gets lost in a storm and crash lands in Minnesota? Then God help them! How about a very high-flying aircraft? You say you're in the year 1951, so I assume you have jet airplane technology.
Yes, we have jets.
I mean, like large passenger jets that fly at very high altitudes, like over 30,000 feet. Can they fly over Minnesota?
All air travel steers very wide from Minnesota airspace. There has been a few incidents from outer space.
What? What kind of incidents from outer space?
The satellite disasters.
Wait a minute. You have satellite technology in your world in the year 1951?
Yes, of course.
Wow. Here in our world, the first cruise satellite was not launched until 1957. When did you develop the satellite technology in your world?
The Nazis launched the first satellite in the 1930s.
The Nazis? In our world, we fought a huge war against the Nazis in the 1940s. So who is the leaders of the Nazis in your world? And can we presume that you're talking about Nazi Germany?
Germany, yes, and others.
And what about Adolf Hitler?
No.
He was an extremely evil man who led the Nazi movement in our world. He was from Germany. His policy resulted in what we called World War II. The Nazis were defeated and no longer exist, except for a few weirdos. Aren't the Nazis evil in your world?
They are what they are.
Are there many Nazis in your America?
There are some.
Wow. Well, anyway, Can you tell us more about this incident involving Minnesota and satellite disaster that you spoke of?
Our communication will end soon without sea chits,
What sea chits?
required by the arbiter of the Hassas grid, the oracle I am using.
But what are sea chits?
Consciousness chits. I do understand it very well. They feel the grid.
So, who or what is the arbiter of the Hassas grid?
The facilitator of the Hassas grid, whom allows our communication.
So, is he like with you or something?
No, he communicates through the Hassas grid.
Is he some kind of entity, or could you explain this a little bit better?
I am almost out of sea chips. The arbiter will speak with you.
We'd love to communicate with this arbiter of the Hassas grid.
You must supply me with sea chips.
Hello! Are we now speaking with the arbiter of the Hassas grid?
Yes, supply sea chips.
We don't really understand what they are or where to get them.
You putrid liar.
Whoa! Hold on, we're being honest with you. We'd happily supply with sea chips if we knew what they were.
You use the Hassas grid.
Not entirely true. We use a device called a Ouija board. This does not require sea chips. Our friend Dr. 58 does use the Hassas grid. Perhaps you should seek him for your sea chips.
While from the lower sack, pay 100 sea chits.
Lois Sack! Your comments sting our dignity! Please, put us back in contact with Dr. 58, and we'll get to the bottom of the sea chip issue and possibly supply you with the sea chips you require.
I'm not a fool. 100 sea chips pay.
What are sea chips and where do we get them?
Crawling filth, pay sea chips.
We cannot supply them to you if we don't know what they are. At least give us a hint on how to obtain these sea chips, so that way we can trade them with you.
Pay the sea chips.
Note: we had came to an impasse with the arbiter of the Hassas grid. No matter how hard we tried to come to terms with the sea chip issue, we gained no traction on the issue with him. The arbiter would only demand more chits. We tried numerous times to bypass around the arbiter of the Hassas grid so we can contact Dr. 58 on our own, but we were unable to get contact with him. This was a huge disappointment because we had so many more questions for Dr. 58, and we especially wanted to know about the so-called satellite disasters he mentioned in relation to his strange version of Minnesota. We were considering about giving up, but then we decided to contact Mommy to see if she would help us in this situation.
Hello, sweetheart.
Hi, Mommy. How's the form of nothingness today?
Nothing is formed, darling.
Yes, so you said before. Listen, Mommy, we have an interesting problem that we've hoped that you can help us with. We had been communicating with a certain person who goes by the name of Dr. 58. He claims he lives in New York City, and it seemed to be some kind of alternative universe to ours. What do you think?
I don't think anything about it, hon.
That's understandable. I mean, why would you? Mommy, Dr. 58 claims to be using something called a Hassas grid as a form of communication, and that he claimed the knowledge of how to use this device by something called the Verdantic Mysteries. Do you have any knowledge of either of these?
Answer. Pilgrims, bend your ears near. Hear you are here. The ancient world of seers. The Verdantic Mystery 1. Know what this is? Come to mind from eternal bliss. And your mind is truly without. Speech comes from elsewhere, not your mouth. Pilgrim upon the pier, peer to the sea, see the sea, taste your tears, soak the tears, soak the seas.
Wow! What is that, Mommy?
The opening canticle from the Verdantic Mysteries.
What exactly are the Verdantic Mysteries?
A certain body of knowledge.
Where do they come from, and who exactly wrote them or developed this technology?
A powerful being in times of ancient yours.
Well, are they like all written down in some huge book?
No, honey. That will only be partial understanding of the nature of the Verdantic Mysteries.
But some of the Verdantic Mysteries must be written down, since you just dictated some of it.
You wrote them down, but they're not written down.
This is so darn cool. Mommy, can you dictate the Verdantic Mysteries so I can write them down?
No, honey.
Why not?
The Verdantic Mysteries are not from your world.
Why not? Admitting The script you've read is questionable poetry, yet has certain charm, and dare I say, a sense of mystery about it. It made a basic kind of sense. Why can't we get more of this material?
It is not for you.
Well, why did you tease us with this juicy tidbit?
To arouse your curiosity and delight.
But certainly you understand it's not nice to ratchet up the curiosity and then pull the chain on us, to spark our curiosity and douse it right away.
But you are delighted and curious.
I guess so. Mommy. Note that we got no response, made a feeling that Mommy wanted us to move on. Well then, Mommy, can you tell us more about the Hassasgrig and how to make one, the kind that Dr. 58 is using? He says somehow he got these instructions from the Verdantic Mysteries.
The Hassasgrid will not be for you.
Why not? The principles of physics? You mean there are certain fundamental physical characteristics of Dr. 58's world that are different from my world?
Yes, honey.
Well, at very least you can help us with the arbiter of the Hassasgrid. This is rather boorish character that only demands us to fork over something called the sea chits in order for us to have a conversation with Dr. 58. Can you advise us? Mommy?
Yes, they're consciousness chits. You can generate them. Do you know how, darling?
I have no idea how to do it. Can you explain?
You just use your energy bar tool.
Ah, yes, indeed! Note, the energy bar tool, EBT, is something I learned from my experimentation with the consciousness tools developed by Monroe Institute. If anyone here does not know about the Monroe Institute in Faber, Virginia, anyway, the EBT is some kind of consciousness device that I have found extremely useful in lucid dream and out-of-body experience practice. To make a long story short, one of the Monroe tapes provides instructions how to build an EBT by first getting into a highly focused state of mind called Focus 10. And then you visualize a tiny dot of light, then visualize it growing to a small ball, and then you stretch it out to a bar of light. Next, you charge this energy bar tool by visualizing growing fatter and thinner, then fatter and thinner. Then start making it do it so rapidly you can't hear the motion anymore, but rather sense the motion as vibrating a kind of energy. Then, to further charge the EBT, you visualize the light switching on and off, then on and off, and then on and off, until it starts doing so rapidly that you can just see the pure light, but you can sense intense pulsation as energy. It's really terrific. Once you have the EBT, you can take it with you into the dream world, or the OBE state, and it comes handy for a variety of purposes, which I won't go into right now. So, Mommy, are you telling me that the energy bar tool is C-chip?
Yes.
But, Mommy, the arbiter of the Hassasgrid is asking for 100 C-chips. I think it would be prohibitively difficult and time-consuming to make 100 of them, even though this device works in the realm of mental construct. And I'm still bound by time, to some degree, in this process. At any rate, how do I pay him over there?
Honey, create a single energy bar tool and shatter them into many pieces as you need.
That's a great idea. I wonder if I could visualize 100 pieces. Well, never mind, Mommy. I'll work on that. But how do I pass it on to the arbiter?
Hold them into your consciousness and contact the arbiter. The transaction will be complete.
Wow, okay, Mommy. I mean, like double wow. I think I could do that. This is going to be so fun. I can't wait to see if it works. Thanks, Mommy. Thank you. We love you, Mommy.
Yours is a gentle energy, honey bunny. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mommy. And that includes the second installment of The Strange Tale of Dr. 58. If you wish to subscribe to my videos for any future uploads, just click top left corner there, that big red square thing that has a little hand on there. If you want to go to the third chapter, just click on the top right corner when it gets uploaded. Or if you're interested in reading articles on topics similar to this, highlight the link below and then paste it in your browser bar.